find some sort of harmony and balance.
With that said, you guys have to make sure that everything about you and what you do, the focus, the action steps, the people that you're around, and we're gonna get into detail. I'm gonna really kind of deconstruct for you guys how I did it when I got into the industry about 10 years ago, because I've had my license for 10 years now. Previously to Real, I was with EXP. I grew a nationwide team. Last year we did over 130 million in volume, so we've sold a lot, right? I don't like going around and talking about it because that's not the type of person that I am, but the formula has remained the same from the beginning for me. If you were to talk to me 10 years ago when I got into the business, I would have told you even then at some point I wanted to grow like a nationwide team. At the time I was in California, but the thought, prevailing is sometime in the future, I'm gonna have a team outside of this area in Los Angeles, right? Because that's kind of where I grew up and where I started, right? I'm in Miami now, I moved to Miami. So for you, the individual, right? I would invite you guys right now, if you have paper or pen, right? And you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I don't force participation from anybody, but I would either write down or contemplate in your head right now, okay, so today, up until coming to this event, what time did we start? 11, right? I would look at it and say, okay, when I woke up, let's say it was 5, 6, 7, whatever, up until I came to the event, what was done in that time, right? Like if you were to come to me and we were gonna hang out for a second and eat, and I said, hey, let me see what you did today. Like, would I look at that list and be like, oh man, wow, like you're a go-getter? Or would I be like, what the hell are you doing, right? Oh, the youngsters left. Man, I was excited to talk to them, right? Did they leave?
Yeah.
Oh man, dang, I was really excited to speak to the younger generation. So we look at that, right? So me coming in, right? I'm assuming most people here don't know me. I was a professional athlete before I got into real estate. I played basketball in South America and Spain, and real estate was never like even a thought in my mind at all, right? I got injured for a second time, had a second surgery, didn't walk for months, and then basically said, okay, well, basketball's done. I'm 24, 25 at the time. And now I kind of have to like reinvent myself, which for me was extremely difficult, right? Going from bouncing a ball 24/7, because I played basketball, to now I got to get a job. I'm like, oh man, this is like, I don't want to do this. I want to keep playing basketball, right? Put me in the wheelchair league. You know what I mean? Like I'll figure it out, right? I get in and it's just everything about me. The point is everything about me had to change, right? Everything, right? Like, you get some of the basics here in the business. Wake up early, do your prospecting and all that. And for me, I was like, dude, I don't wake up early unless our coach makes us to go to practice. But what I did was, if you can imagine here on the screen, I put up, hey, this is what it's going to take for you to be a successful person in real estate or an entrepreneur. And we were to create a list, right? If we were just to create a list together, you guys would know a lot of this basic stuff. Wake up early, take care of yourself, right? Eat right, make sure you prospect, read a book an hour a day, all those basics that people have been pushing online and on the memes and social media, you already know, right? Like we don't have to come up here and preach it to you. You already know it. But I looked at that list and I was like, dude, I don't do any of that. I was like, man, this is a daunting task, but this is the key. I said, okay, I chose to get into real estate and I chose to jump into this game, meaning now I can't carry this identity of, well, I'm an athlete everywhere I go. Because I'm sure you guys still have friends, and I have a ton, who talk about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was the man. Oh, remember back in the day? Like, I don't want to be around that. I don't know about you guys. I don't want my peak or what I talk about, my glory days, to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I want it to be every day and moving forward. I want to continuously look forward to something that I aspire to acquire, to become, or something that gets me out of bed. Right? Because like I'm the type now that I've been in the game for 10 years and I've done a lot and I continue doing more. I still wake up every day like, dude, let's do it, right? Whether I'm working on my personal brand, my coaching business, my real estate team, it's still there, that rookie day one excitement. It's not, oh man, Like I never aspired to be like, the whole thing in the movies about being on the beach, sipping drinks and not worrying about anything. That to me is not appealing, right? I want purpose. I want drive. I want something behind me. I want to be able to exert this life energy that I have into something that interests me, right? So when I looked at that list, I said, okay, this is the key. I chose to get into this, right? Was anybody here forced to get into real estate or do what they do? Right? Where maybe you got married and they're like, hey, you're going to get your license. And you're like, okay. Like nobody? Nobody? Okay, so you signed up for this. So when we go back to that list that I brought up of some of these basic qualities and traits and things that we're gonna have to do, well, guess what? You signed up for it. We can't, what do? We battle it nowadays. And the interesting part is when you go on social media, man, you can see it all. You go to my YouTube, the ads on my videos tell you to not do what I talk about in my video. It's insane. And I'll sit there and watch the ad. I'm like, wow, people actually believe this. Wow, this dude just said you can make millions in real estate without even lifting a finger. Wow. And people are actually watching that and paying for it and signing up for whatever he has to say. Now, I guarantee you watching, you know that's not true, but you're still like, well, Bryan's kind of mean and he tells me to work hard and I really don't want to work hard. So, okay, I'm going to sign up over here, right? And it becomes this thing, but it always goes back to that list that I said that we create. And I would invite you right now as I'm talking, if it ever comes to your mind, certain traits or things that maybe right now you're not doing, start writing them down. If it's get up earlier, get up earlier. If it's, hey, I need to get on the phones, like Frank said, for an hour a day, make it that. If it's, hey, I need to start picking up some books to sharpen up my communication skills, do that. Maybe you need to start doing this and organizing events and speaking in front of people. Why? Because if you can do this, meeting with this buyer or a seller is child's play, y'all. It's child's play. I've sold houses in LA that are teardowns, $100,000, which is unheard of over there, but I'm talking absolute dumps. That it's almost like you go there and it has the yellow tape because it was a murder scene and all types of stuff, right? And I've actually sold a few houses in Beverly Hills for 3, 4, 5, 6 million throughout my career and in Miami, right? But I can tell you, it doesn't matter who I meet with because when I look at everything I've done, including, I think I tallied it up about a year ago, I surpassed, because I've been counting, I've been keeping a counter. I've done over 1,000 speaking events where I've been paid, not including stuff like this where it's for free or for our network and we do it together, right? And I look at it now and I say, man, if I was to meet with a buyer or a seller, I don't care who it is, put a fucking celebrity in front of me. This is what I do. This is easy. Brad Pitt, no problem. You think I'm gonna be scared of him? No. You're playing in my world, bro. This is real estate. This is my game, not yours. You wanna talk to me about acting, I'm all ears. I'll take notes. But when it comes to real estate, sit down and listen. But when you look at an event like this or any event that I've done, it's prepared me for moments like that because when you look at the level of intensity there, it's different. Who here was an athlete at all, even in high school, college, or anything, right? Raise your hand. They would kill us during practice. I hated practice, just like anybody else. But when it came game time, I was like, man, I'm in shape. I'm dunking. This is nothing. I loved the game because that was my rest, right? That was my rest. You guys know. See, everybody laughs and relates. This is no different. Question, Frank. Did it take a lot to organize this, or was it pretty simple overall?
I thought it would be a lot harder, and it was pretty simple.
Pretty simple, right? And he's going to walk away from this a better agent, a better man, a better presenter, right? And he's done presentations before, but he told me this is more of the first public one, right? That wasn't within the brokerage and that kind of stuff. And that's great. So now maybe you had some thought in the past or someone has about maybe doing a home buying seminar or something for the public. Now, by virtue of you having done this, that one's going to be way easier and simpler for you to execute, right? Easy, right? And maybe some of you want to do it. Luke talked about it, right? Even backstage with me. Oh man, I was overthinking doing the social media thing. He even said it on stage. He was telling his agents for 6 years to do social media and he didn't do it. None of this is rocket science when I look at it, right? But when I look back on my journey, some of these things that I've touched on today, it's really a change of the individual from within. And this is why I talk about this shit so much with people, right? Because you have to look at yourself in the mirror. Let's say mirror, mirror on the wall, right? Right here. You have to be okay, what am I going to do differently here? Up until age whatever, fill in the blank for yourself right now. I've done this. I now need to look at that list of what I need to do and reference it with what I'm doing now. What needs to change? You think I was excited when I started? I would wake up at 5 a.m. Why? Because every successful person that I was studying was waking up early, going to the gym, reading, meditating, doing all this. It's wow, this guy jumps in a freezing cold pool for 30 seconds. Well, fucking sign me up, right? Because I wanted to achieve that. But what do? We'll stand on the outside and be well, I don't know. I like being warm in the morning, so I'm not going to do that. Well, 5, I'm just not a morning person. I need my coffee, right? You start, right? But that's a bunch of bullshit, right? How can we, wanting to become something or someone, critique the very thing that you know will get you there? We do that, right? We do that. We're not in the position to do it. Now, it's uncomfortable. I get it. I had to do the same thing. It's programmed in me now to wake up early, right? Like, I'll stay up late with people, and then I'm like kind of mad because I'm like, man, like I'm not going to sleep in. I'm going to go to sleep at 3 a.m, and I'm so wired to wake up early. By 6, I'll be up. And if I'm not up at 6, by 6:30, my cats are like, hey, we want to eat. I have 2 of the hairless cats, the Sphinx cats. They're great. They're like dogs. But damn, they want to eat every couple hours, and they fucking drive me crazy, right? And I don't have any kids yet. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want kids, because sometimes I want to grab these cats and throw them. I don't want to do that with the child. You know what I mean? That's not fair to them. But you guys catch the drift. And there's a lot of things that I clashed with from these things that we're discussing, but I still did it. Because I remembered I signed up for this, and for me to achieve this, which for me, my first year, my goal was make $200,000 in commission in real estate. That was my goal my first year, right? And we'll go over some of the things that I did and some things that I know will help you today, right? But that was the goal. Now, I would ask all of you, right? You don't have to say out loud, what was your goal getting in the first year? Because for me to say 200,000 to a lot of people, some people laughed when I told them that. People are like, dude, you're crazy, right? Lower it, go for 50K. Like, what are you talking about? You're new, right? Like all the what I call the normie stuff gets thrown at you, right? Because you dare to say, well, no, I want to go for 200,000. Because when people would say that to me, I said, who are you to tell me I can't do it? Are you speaking from the position of having achieved it? And you're like, wait, I've achieved this and beyond, let me teach. No, it's always the random person, the person who doesn't even have the courage to get the license telling you that, right? So I said, okay, well, that's a bold ask. Would you agree? Being new, 0 entrepreneurship, 0 sales skills, didn't even own a suit, right? I had to borrow one of my dad's suit jackets, right? I'm a little taller than him, so the suit sleeves were like to here, right? And I'm like, man, okay. So you look at that, okay, the ask is up here. From nothing, from 0 to hero, 0 to 200,000, right? Well, you guys would agree, again, even if we don't know the science behind this, that what you give has to be in proportion to what you want to receive, right? So, okay, we're going to do 200,000. What is it going to take to get there? Let me give you guys a breakdown of my schedule of my first year. All right, many of you are going to be this hardcore, probably not, but I'll give it to you, okay? I would wake up at 5, and from 5 to about 7:30, 8 was all the stuff that I would do in the morning to prepare myself. Gym, right? I would do at least 45 minutes roughly of reading or some sort of educational material, right? My mornings up until 12 were media free, meaning no Instagram, no email, none of that. The only exception to that would be if I chose, like in Luke's case, to prepare a piece of content, that would be allotted in there. But other than that, I could not consume Instagram, Facebook, none of that. No. Even my vendors knew, don't contact this kid before 12 because he's not going to answer unless it's like the house is burning down emergency, which was rare. I think I got like 1 call ever in like 2 years. I sat my vendors down, y'all, and said, hey, this is my schedule, and I want you to also hold me accountable to this. And I shared it with them. I sat down my vendors, I brought them all for a lunch and said, this is my plan. Vendors, I want to sell, 50 houses this year. And this is how I plan on getting there. I need your cooperation. Are you with me? And I went over everything with them, and everybody was about it. That strengthened our relationship with my vendors, but they're like, dude, they told me. And at that time I was new. I was like 6 months, like, dude, no one's ever done this with us.